For years, American soccer had a problem it could not solve. A problem that no amount of money, marketing, or investment could fix. The United States had everything: world-class stadiums, billion-dollar leagues, athletes who dominated global sports. But in soccer, something was always missing: a true world-class hero. A player who could stand next to Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, and not look out of place. A player who could make the world finally take American soccer seriously. For decades, that player never arrived, and slowly, people stopped expecting him to. They believed American soccer would always be just an outsider in the world's game, a nation powerful in every sport, except football. But somewhere, far from the global spotlight, a story had already begun. In a quiet town in Pennsylvania, a boy was growing up. A boy who didn't know it yet, but he would carry the weight of an entire nation's expectations and become known to the world as Captain America.
His name was Christian Pulisic. And this is not just the story of a football player. This is the story of how one individual changed the identity of an entire sport in a country of over 300 million people. Christian Mate Pulisic was born on September 18, 1998, in Hershey, Pennsylvania, a place more famous for chocolate than champions. At first glance, nothing about his early life suggested global stardom. No spotlight, no fame, no expectations, just a kid growing up in a normal American environment. But there was one difference. While most American kids dreamed of the NFL or the NBA, Christian was obsessed with soccer, not because it was popular, but because it was personal. His family was the reason. His father played soccer. His mother played soccer. The game was not entertainment in his household. It was culture. It was identity. It was life. And from a very early age, Christian showed something unusual. He was not the biggest kid.
He was not the strongest, but he was different in a way coaches couldn't ignore. He saw the game faster than others. He reacted quicker. He played without fear. While other kids hesitated, he attacked. While others played safe, he took risks. And while most children trained to have fun, Christian trained with obsession, repeating drills, repeating movements, repeating mistakes until they disappeared. Because even as a child, he was not thinking small. He was thinking about something most people around him couldn't even imagine. Europe, the highest level, the biggest stage, the real game. And that dream would soon force him to make a decision that would change everything: leave comfort or stay average. Most players stay, but Christian didn't. He chose risk, he chose pressure, he chose Germany, Borussia Dortmund, one of the most demanding football environments in the world, a club famous for producing stars, but only if you survive. Because in Dortmund, talent is not enough. You must adapt. You must suffer. You must grow. And Christian entered that world as a teenager, a young American in a system built for European development. New language, new culture, new speed of football, new expectations every single day. Many players break here, not because they lack ability, but because they cannot handle pressure. But Christian didn't break. He absorbed it. He learned. He improved. And slowly, he began to stand out. Training sessions became battles. Matches became tests. And every touch of the ball became a statement. Then came the moment that changed everything. 17 years old. One decision. One debut. Christian Pulisic was called up to Borussia Dortmund's first team. At an age when most teenagers are still trying to understand themselves, he was stepping onto one of Europe's biggest stages. And something unexpected happened. He didn't look lost. He didn't look afraid.
He looked ready. His speed created chaos. His dribbling broke defensive lines. His confidence shocked experienced professionals. And almost instantly, the narrative changed. It was no longer about potential. It was about reality. The question was no longer, can an American player make it in Europe? The question became, how far can he go? Because something rare was happening. America was producing a real European-level talent, a player who didn't just participate, but competed and sometimes dominated. For young American fans, he became something new, not just a player, but a message that the gap between the United States and world football was not permanent. His rise continued, and soon, the biggest clubs in the world started watching. Chelsea Football Club, one of the giants of English football, entered the picture, and everything escalated. A transfer worth tens of millions, a move under global pressure, a spotlight that never turns off.
Now every match mattered. Every mistake was magnified. Every success was debated. But pressure does something to special players. It doesn't destroy them, it reveals them. At Chelsea, Christian produced moments that defined matches, crucial goals, big performances, European nights under pressure, and eventually, history. The UEFA Champions League, the biggest prize in club football. In 2021, Chelsea lifted the trophy, and Christian Pulisic became one of the first American players in history to win the Champions League, a moment once considered impossible, now reality. But even after reaching Europe's summit, his biggest responsibility was still waiting, not in England, not in Germany, but back home with the United States national team. Because when he wore that jersey, everything changed. He was no longer just a player, he was a symbol, a responsibility, a hope. Millions of fans believed he would be the one to transform American soccer forever.
But expectations come with pressure, and pressure comes with criticism. Then came the moment that shook American soccer. The United States failed to qualify for the 2018 FIFA World Cup. A moment that felt unthinkable. A moment that exposed deep problems in the system. And for Christian, it was personal. Because this was not just about failure, it was about identity. But instead of collapsing, he responded differently. He rebuilt himself, stronger, calmer, more focused. And around him, a new generation began to rise. Young players inspired by his journey. A system slowly improving. A culture slowly changing. Step by step. Year after year. Until finally, redemption arrived. The United States returned to the World Cup stage. And Christian Pulisic stood at the center of it all. Not as a prospect, not as a young talent, but as a leader, a captain, a face of American soccer's transformation.
Today, millions of young players in the United States look at him and see possibility. An American playing in Europe. An American winning major trophies. An American competing with the world's best. But his story is not finished, because the biggest chapter may still be ahead. The 2026 FIFA World Cup, on home soil. A moment that could define everything. And for Christian Pulisic, this was never just about becoming a star. It was about proving something bigger, that American soccer belongs on the world stage. And now, the world is no longer ignoring that idea. It is watching it, waiting, and wondering, what comes next?